I was interested, going back to one, this is a slide that I use often in teaching because I'm very interested in the way that the methods of coercive control, the methods of dominance and subordination, which again are so cross-cultural, right? This is a slide from Amnesty International report on torture. It came out in 1973, and it was based on interviews with torture survivors from political conflicts and in various parts of the globe. And they all said basically the same thing. I think these methods are used cross-culturally because they work. But look how many of them are involved with shaming. I mean, violence, yes, induces fear. And the capricious enforcement of petty rules and intermittent rewards breaks down autonomy and initiative so that one becomes dependent on the control of the perpetrator. But the ones I've highlighted in red are shaming methods. The control of bodily functions, isolation from others, degradation, forcing people to do things that they find humiliating or disgusting. And finally, the enforced participation in atrocities, which is both shame and guilt producing, of course, but the enormous shame that people have when they, as survivors, and you'll say, you had no choice. And that's a completely inadequate answer because they know they had a choice. They could have chosen to die.
And then there's another really important thing here that you sort of see in that Eric Vermetten tape, in all of these tapes that you always see, namely, what does a normal person do when they engage in a stimulus? They generate an inhibitory wave called the N200, and it allows your brain to grasp this information. The P300 is the way in which your brain grasps what comes in. So you hear, and you go, what's that? Oh, it's a guy making crazy sound to illustrate something how the brain works, and you put it in your memory. And if you have heard me give this talk before, last time you made this be a talk also, because the P300 worked, unless you were traumatized at the time that I gave that talk, in which case you won't remember it because you did not generate a P300 and you couldn't remember it. That sounds like a joke, but it's very serious, actually. So what does a traumatized person do when they hear an ordinary, non-traumatic sound? We always keep thinking it's about trauma, and what it shows about that being traumatized is not about the trauma, it's about being the non-traumatic stuff. So a traumatized person hears a sound like that, doesn't inhibit irrelevant information, and does not generate a good P300, so it doesn't grasp what's coming in now.